For those of you who live out here in the Rocky Mountains, that's a familiar sight. Hi, my name is Chad Booth. I am a TV producer and a filmmaker, and I want to talk to you for a minute about a documentary in production called Policy by Litigation. I was born here in the West. I have lived here, worked here, and played here for most of my life. In my 60 years on this planet, I have watched the forests literally wither and die before my very eyes. In the past 4 decades, the vibrant forests of my youth, which were once green and lush, productive and full of life, today they are old, diseased, and decaying. Rural communities, once bustling with activity and prosperity, are now boarded up and mostly abandoned. The people of the West have suffered too. You know, ranchers and farmers used to be the heroes that we as kids looked up to. Today, it takes a heroic effort even to try to survive as a rancher out here. People used to embrace life out here in the West because they could make a good living by working the ground, working on the drilling rigs, or working in the mines. They could take their families and get out into the backcountry because they had access to it. They could drive along an old mining road or a ranch path, pitch a tent, and enjoy with their families what God had created. None of that is true anymore. It's mostly because of environmental litigation and activism. The very things that I used to treasure as a Westerner are truly slipping away. Environmentalism has become a religion. These organizations' zealous efforts to push environmentalism on the rest of us has displaced conservationism as the management strategy in the West, with something very destructive. The vehicle for this minority movement to shape land policy in the West is really a loophole in a law that was meant to help ranchers and farmers protect themselves against federal encroachment. The fact is that today, that law is primarily used as a tool that allows environmental organizations the ability to file lawsuit after lawsuit against the federal government, then makes the federal government pay them for filing the suit. The net result is that the environmental groups are single-handedly closing access to our Western land and, more importantly, our Western heritage. It is the will of a small minority, controlling the will of the vast majority. This sue and settle strategy has blocked prescriptive maintenance of our forests and rangelands, leaving them at the precipice of catastrophic destruction. It has forced people from their homes and communities because these suits lead to regulations that close our opportunities as Westerners to make a living and produce goods off the land, of which all Americans partake. The sad fact is that it doesn't just affect Westerners, it affects everybody in the entire country because it makes the West dependent upon federal tax dollars for our essential needs. The law that fuels this assault on our Western way of life is called EJA, the Equal Access to Justice Act. There is a loophole in this law that must be stopped. To reverse the cycle of excessive and obstructive litigation, we must tell the story so that everyone, including our elected leaders in Washington, know about it. We need to build an army of support that will force Washington to fix it. As President Ronald Reagan once said, if you can't make them see the light, make them feel the heat. The documentary we are working on is called Policy by Litigation, the Environmental Movement in the 21st Century, and we need your help to complete it. Now, we've already done the research, we've collected the interviews, but your help is essential for us to continue. So please go to our website, policybylitigation.org, and make your pledge, your contribution, or donation today. The heritage of the West might well depend upon it.